Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Professor Rad. I'm back with another video for Super Smash, and I figured today we could cover something that me as a newer player started to learn the game. My 23rd day that I kind of figured out, and isn't very necessarily talked about in the very beginning stages, about how to approach in neutral and the effectiveness of jumps. You might find it in a couple videos here and there. It's briefly talked about, like Banana Boy will talk about some of this stuff, but it only gets lightly grazed. And there isn't enough content out here for those of us who are just picking up Smash, first time ever, and have no clue how to approach neutral, which is approaching each other in that space where you're just staring each other down. How do you approach? How does the other person approach? Why would you want to jump here? When wouldn't you want to jump here? If you jump at this space, will this reach, etc. So let's jump into the game and take a look at something. Okay, we've got Chrom and Lucina set up here on Battlefield, and I was practicing a couple of combos earlier today, and one of the big things that I want new players to learn is perfect short hopping and what a rising short hop is. These were things that weren't necessarily explained to me, and people were telling me, hey, this combo hits, and I'm like, but it doesn't. Why doesn't it hit? So what's the difference between a short hop and a rising short hop? So if you hit an attack button at the same time as a jump button, and any direction, whether that's neutral or a direction, your attack will come out as a short hop guaranteed every time. You literally can't screw this up. As long as you're holding down attack and a jump button, you will get a short hop every time. But what you have to look at is the hitbox of Chrom's sword. It is already out when I do this. It is out. Whereas if I do this, this is a regular short hop. My sword is not coming out, so if I short hop and let myself fall, I can get it really low to the ground. So which means if you space things correctly, you should be able to make things safe or allow you to dash backwards or block if you hit it in the right space. So if you hit, let's see, hold up. He can get out of there really quick on his fair and just about make every fair safe if he short hops it. Now, if you do it this version, you can still do it, but you can see there's somewhat of a delay because it takes longer for him to now reach the ground again before he can touch to then end up going backwards with a dash. So that's just something to keep in mind. Remember, 2 jump buttons at once, you get a guaranteed short hop every time, one where your attack will fall. This is going to change up combos. This is going to make combos possible or not. And it's also going to change how you approach neutral. Remember what we were talking about right at the beginning. What if I jump at him? Well, if you jump at him and then your attack comes out and he does something at roughly the same time, but he picks something that could come out potentially faster. Maybe he's doing this for his up tilt. That's going to hit quicker. You're going to get hit out of the air. But if your hitbox is already out there and you did the rising version, then this thing's already active. This thing's active as you're coming up and out in the close range. This can also make different setups available. The ability to cross people up becomes available once you start doing this effectively as you're running at people. Chrom, for example, has a great up air when you're jumping that if you time it right, you can end up on their back end like that to hit them. Makes combos that aren't normally available to him. He hits that, he can now hit a back air and it'll do 20 some damage at low percentages. So that's one thing I want to talk about as far as jumping. Now the other big thing, and this is the big takeaway from this video, yeah, you just learned how more effective short hop methods. The biggest thing that no one talks about is if you go watch high level play. At the high level play, what do you see? People going crazy, right? Jumping, short falling, doing neutral, trying to just, you know, bait someone out. You're gonna watch Mr. Rivers play Chroms and you're like, whoa man, this guy, the Rivers he's the man. Him and Mr. R just going crazy. How do I do this? So what do you start doing? You start jumping like a mad person, right? You're in your match and you're like, well, I saw this on the internet and everyone I've been talking to is telling me that, you know, my fair is really good, so I'm just gonna abuse this thing and keep jumping. So what happens? The first person that blocks one of your fairs and then punishes you for 26% or more is gonna just beat you senseless because you're just gonna keep doing this. It's gonna get guarded, and then next thing you know, you're done. You're at 100% and you've been knocked off stage. So what I encourage people to do is learn spacing with jumping. If you jump 3 times during a match, but you got that person to 100% every time because you didn't need to be high up in the sky, that's great. You know why? Because every time you go up in this game, the higher you go, the harder it is for you to do anything to your opponent. That's another big thing that isn't talked about. You see all these people jumping so much that you assume, oh man, this isn't like Street Fighter, the advantage is from the sky, so I've got to constantly be jumping. No, it is definitely still akin to Street Fighter. You don't want to jump unless you think you can make it safe, pressure people, or make it into a mix-up. There needs to be a reason for the jump, not just, hey, I'm chilling in the middle, he's there, I'm here, we're gonna start running at each other, I guess I jump. Because if you are better at spacing or baiting, they jump and you dash through, or they jump and you spot dodge and bam, you punish them. That's your advantage. So just be mindful of how often you jump. Be mindful that the higher you go, the more likely it is you're going to be taking damage, because you got to figure out how to touch the ground again so that all of your abilities are back in availability. To some extent, if you think of the stage as almost 3 areas you can knock off and not just 2, a lot of people treat fighting game stages as left and right. Just treat Smash as it has 1 more and then that it's up. When you're more concerned about staying on the ground, the better off you'll be, because then your jump games become more precise. You're not going to just throw one out like that and then get hit for it. You're going to learn that if I jump at this point, I'm going to whiff. But if I jump at this point, get a little closer, oop, did a reversal, still whiffed, I can hit. So there's a lot of practice that needs to go into play. The best thing you can do is leave the character in training mode towards the edge. This is measurable. You can figure this out. You can take a look and go about 3 character ends where this shadow is, I should be able to run and hit off a short hop. Nair or, again, fair is hitting from this range if I learn to time it right. So those are some things I just wanted to cover. Really basic tutorial for people getting new into the game. Just something that's helped me out in the last 3 days immensely. Up until now, I've just been jumping for the sake of jumping, and it was not going that well. I mean, I was eating everything possible, thinking that, oh, it must be the character. It isn't me. Maybe I just suck with this character and blah, blah, blah. Turns out, if I was playing a more reserved game, the majority of matches that I've started to win now are the ones where I'm not going crazy with Chrom yet. At some point, I'm going to get better, and I'll know all my spacing where I hit the button that I can start going crazy with him. And I can start, you know, really laying it in and going apeshit. But right now is not that time. So if you like the video, if you like the tips, I'm going to start doing more of ones that have helped me as my journey as I've just started playing the game. I think there's a little bit of tidbits here and there that I can inject to help you just learn the game a little bit faster. Feel free to sub to the channel. Feel free to like the video. And again, check me out live on Twitch. Mornings at around 9 a.m. Eastern and nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's twitch.tv/theprofessorrad. And thank you guys for checking out this video, and have fun smashing MILFs out there, gang. I'll catch you next time.